All right,
Hi.
let me get your stuff open here and let me share the screen. So you have two here. And let me share this with everyone. All right, can you guys see everything here? So Amber, is this the side of your carrier?
That's just like the flat label.
Okay,
Um, I believe the second one should be kind of like more showing. I just kind of jumped to it because I wanted
okay.
to see how it would look. Once I started doing that, I realized I'm probably going to definitely change the logo spritz, and I kind of want to go more towards like where it says soda water. I kind of got that vibe, but this is kind of like where I just left off at.
I like both of them. The really thin type on this one tends to get lost. I love the graphics.
Mhm.
So doing the outline type might be a good way to go on there. And if there's any way that if you want to use this outline type, if there's a way that you can customize it so we can actually trademark it as a logo, that would be great. Either customize the O or the A's or something in there just to make it really unique. Although I have to say, I've always liked the spiral with the square. I think what's happening is it's separating from all the circles. It's like all the circles in the background look like it's from one design, and then this logo looks like it's from a second design.
Mhm.
This logo or this type works with the circular background because you've got real circular shapes with your fonts.
Mhm.
So I'll leave it up to you. I like this logo, but I don't think it works with the circles.
Mhm. Right.
This could be very cool and work with the circles as well.
Okay. All right.
And one nice thing too, if you do this outline type with no color or anything in it, it ties
Mhm.
into, this is soda water. So it's like it's almost like the letters are full of soda water as well. I suppose you could put a like white in there or something. I think it's going to look
Mhm.
cool. I think you're on the right track here. And again, I'll have videos on how to more accurately put all this stuff in. I
Mhm.
should get those up by the weekend. But it's looking good. Does anyone else have any other comments on it?
I really like the spiral type little logo.
Yeah, maybe,
Mhm.
you know what, Amber, maybe this is just a second look for you. And if you come up with better graphics, if you want to do it for extra credit, since you've already put so much time into it.
Yeah. Yeah, because I do see how it contradicts, I feel like the filling of the the sphere, like the bubbles in the back. And then it's just, yeah.
Yeah,
I think I need to work on it still,
they're kind
for
of
sure.
fighting each other.
Right.
By putting the dot on the eye, it does help tie it together with the background, but I just think you're just really fighting this, very angular, rectangular spiral design against this. So maybe there's another background that works off these rectangular shapes or spiral shapes or something. Maybe, does that turn into a pattern?
Hmm.
So you've put a lot of time into it already. If you can turn it into extra credit, that would be great.
Okay.
All
Right.
right,
Cool. Thank you.
next up, any volunteers?
I can go next. This is Gemma.
Gemma, okay. Is this you?
Yeah.
Okay,
So I did the same
so
as Amber. I just put it on those to see what it would look like.
I'm sorry. Oh,
I
so
yeah.
so what's the thought behind your label on here?
So the company Dram, it's just like similar shapes like this. Um, but they do have different flavors. So I wanted to keep it pretty general and just do like a design that kind of is similar to all the other designs, but a little different.
Comments, what do you guys think? Here's my issue. When this goes on a bottle, is the name going to have enough presence on it?
Mm-hmm.
What I would probably do, I mean, I like the font. And again, like I was saying earlier, if there's a way you can customize it so it's not just a font that someone has. Um, did you do the outline on here or
For the label, for the
for the letters?
It was just, I just did the stroke instead of filling it.
So let me show you a trick on this, because what's happening, you kind of see it a little bit on the tip of the A, but if you look at the white interior shape on the M, you can see it's getting really kind of screwed up. And the trick to that is the trick to that is how you put the outline on there. So if this is DRAM, oops. And I'm going to choose a sans serif font that I know has very thin options on it. So here's what you could do with this. If you want to put an outline on here, so I'm just going to do like orange on here. Here's what happens when you do the outline. Here's what Illustrator sees. And when you drop a stroke on it, all it's doing is dropping it along the edge, and half of it's inside the letter, half of it's outside. And you can see if I go even heavier with this, I'm losing the entire interior of the letter here. And the way you avoid that, if you're going to outline this type, come over here and open the stroke panel. And it will tell you the width. That's my orange on there. Come over here to the little hamburger menu and show options. And what happens is this is where you can align that outside stroke. And what you want to do, it's always default where the stroke is dropped straight down the edge, half in, half out. You want to choose this option.
Okay.
Which is weird. Why is it not letting me do that? Oh, I think you have to outline the type to do that. So when you put the stroke on the outside, it doesn't distort the letters. So no matter how big I make this outline on here, it's always going to keep the letters the same.
Mm-hmm.
So just go back to your original one. One question I have here, I think you would be better off if these weren't outline shapes. The heavy outlines here are fighting the heavy outlines on your font here.
Mm-hmm.
So I would just make these shapes and not outline on there.
Okay.
And comments, what do you guys think on here?
I love the colors, like the simplicity.
I figured you would. Yeah, I like the kind of really muted color palette. I would work and see if there's a way to make your vines look a little bit more realistic on there. They're a little chunky.
Yeah.
One thing that can really be your friend on here is I'm going to make a leaf here. And no, we don't want it filled with that color. We'll do no outline. All right, quick way to make a leaf. Start with a ellipse here. And then what you want to do is come over here on, where am I looking here? Your pen tool. Come down here and do add anchor point. And if you do this and do that, that'll make you a nice leaf shape. You can also come over here and use some of the warp filters to kind of, let's see, do a little trick like that. And then once you get this leaf shape and you expand it, here's how you can really do those vines pretty quickly. If I take my leaf here and I'm going to rotate it a little bit. If I take my leaf, let me close some of these out so it's easier to see. If you come up here under Effect, Transform, or Distort and Transform, what we can do is multiply. I'm just going to put 11 copies, so I'll have 12 leaves total. And make sure Previews checked. And what I'm going to do is have each one of these leaves. Right now, there's 12 of the little leaves right stacked on top of each other. I'm going to make each leaf get a little bit smaller. And I'm going to go ahead and offset this. Can actually have these get much smaller. And you can do this. We can reflect. Oh, not that one. There we go. So we can create your vine this way, which might be a little
Okay.
easier. But that's one way to repeat the leaves if you wanted to do that effect on there.
Okay.
I don't know, does that appeal to you at all?
Yeah, that looks really good.
Yeah, it just, here's the thing on yours. For these vine shapes, they either need to be like really clean and graphic, like what I just did, or they really need to look like they're hand done, which is not something you can, an effect you can really get on the computer. If you wanted to draw these by hand and make them look more personal and then scan them in and turn them into a vector and place them in there, but you're kind of in the middle. It doesn't look like a realistic graphic, or, you know, it doesn't look like a kind of methodical graphic on here, but
Yeah.
it also doesn't really look all that hand done. You can tell it was done on the computer.
Okay.
All right. Next up here, let's see.
Can I go, Steve?
Who is that? Oh, Megan.
Megan.
Yeah, let me find you. All right, tell us about.
So this is for Cha Cha Matcha. They're a matcha like tea shop in LA.
Comments, what do you guys think?
I really like how it's all like flushed out. It kind of gives like a refreshing feeling.
I think.
Here's the thing on this. I mean, I love your graphic in here. The green seems a little off as far as colors go.
Okay. Like, so should I do a different shade or just like the green altogether?
I think it's just that shade of green. So
Okay.
maybe try a version that goes a little bit more teal so it ties into this color. Or maybe you have the green go a little bit more yellow so it will tie more into the red, but right now it seems a little off. Here's the thing, you can't dictate to the store which side to use. So I think you kind of want your graphics on this panel to also be on this one.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because there's a chance, you know, I would probably have your Hollywood Hills
In the
maybe
middle.
end here and then repeat it and have it go over here.
Okay.
Just so there's a little bit of the graphics on every panel in there.
Okay. Yeah. I was wondering, like, I was trying out different, like, I wanted to kind of wrap around, but like, I didn't know how to like continue it.
Yeah, even though you have 4 sides, it's almost better to think in terms of you have 2 sides and repeat your graphics. And again, that has to do with you have no control over how this is going to be displayed in a store.
Yeah.
And like, what happens if this side is facing the, you know, and I don't even know what the product is. So you need to make sure you get your name on all 4 panels.
Okay.
I would also, just from a contrast standpoint, when you get back far from it, you can make out the hillside because of the contrast, but the name gets lost in there.
Okay.
What I would
Can
do
make
is
it
for
darker.
Cha-Cha, maybe consider this darker red so it really pops. Or maybe you put a white drop shadow on here or a dark drop shadow, something to just get it to pop off a little bit.
Okay.
But it's looking good.
Thank you. I had a label too. I don't know if it got through.
Let's see. This is all I have. Let me double check.
Oh.
Oh, no, here it is. So that's the label that's going to go.
Yeah. I was like, it looks kind of weird because I was thinking how it would like wrap around, but I don't know if I like did the layout right then.
Generally, you would put the design in the center and have it wrap both directions on there.
Okay.
because that's how the machines that put the labels on, they kind of go, so I would just shift all this information into the center and then put essentially flaps on it.
Gotcha.
Here's the thing, same thing, when it's on a shelf, if it's just displayed by bottles, what's happening is your pattern is reading more important than the name on here.
Hmm.
So what I would do is either make Cha-Cha a darker, a shade of this color, or take your pattern and tone it down and make it a little bit lighter of this color. You just want
Okay.
Cha-Cha to really pop. I mean, you have space there. I would make it larger in the center so that we can see it.
Okay.
But it's looking really good. Really
Thank
nicely
you.
done. All right, let's move on here. Whose is this? And you can't see who's all here.
Oh, that one's mine. I'm pretty sure. Yeah,
Okay.
Andy, Andrew.
Yeah, I couldn't see you I didn't see if you were here or not. All right, so
Yeah.
tell us what's going on.
So this is supposed to be for like a sort of, I'm thinking like a fizzy type of, sort of like a sparkling water kind of, a pop essentially, a
Okay.
pop soda, but it's almost in like these beer sort of glasses, so it kind of looks like an adult drink. So the whole like sort of theme behind it is like, it's like kind of this like a little bit of an adult element, but it's more childish. So I came up with bubble pop. In the middle, I have like, this sort of Western cowboy, and he has this, bubble gun with him, and it's like creating these little bubbles and fizzes. But yeah, my main issue right now is I feel like I have a lot of conflicting like ideas. Like it feels like there's three different designs on this, and they're kind of slapped together.
I would not disagree with you. I like the different designs. I like, this wavy pattern. It has a very Memphis design quality to it, which is having a big resurgence right now. So it's kind of on trend. The thing is, if you're selling this as a bubbly pop drink, it's a little risky to go with these really dark muted colors because psychologically, when you think of a drink, you want it to be refreshing. So I'm a little concerned about the palette. But I agree, this wavy pattern, that could be the branding. Maybe if you could work this wave into the logo that you create on here. So that's
Okay.
kind of one look that would be very cool. Here's this great guy you created, the Western guy here.
Mhm.
Why did you cover him up?
Um,
Because I
'Cause I-
think you really need to see the rest of the silhouette and the bubble gum in here. You don't want to cover that up.
Okay.
So this guy would be a second idea. And the way you're playing it up with the little gun and the bubbles, then the whole bubble thing could be a theme for you. Just really make your logo the prominent selling point on here, but definitely don't cover it up. The other thing too, the way you have this logo here is, first of all, traditionally, this purple, green, and gold color combination is used to denote Mardi Gras down in New Orleans.
Oh.
So it seems, I don't know, the double drop shadow on here, I don't think you need that as long as you put this across darker colors. If you want to use the font's good for this, but what you would need to do is maybe if you wanted to combine it with the wavy pattern, have the darker colors, maybe swap the red for the purple. So when you have this yellow logo, it'll pop against it a little bit. So
see.
I'll leave it to you. You have to decide. Like I said, you're right. You have three ideas here. You've got this kind of pseudo Memphis cool wavy pattern. You've got your character you created where you could really turn that into a brand, and then this logo with the double drop shadows on here just looks like it kind of got plastered in from a different design. So do you have a preference which way you want to go?
Not right now, to be honest. I feel like I just have to explore each one a little bit more.
Well, and let me show you too, just the colors you choose on here. Let's see. Well, let's see, there we go. So I'm just, let's see. So what you can do with this, let me see how you have this built here. You know, even something as simple as, let me just ungroup everything here. You know, trying to be light and refreshing, if you just took these swirls and made them white, that could introduce a whole lot of, you know, it could lighten your color palette quite a bit.
Mhm. I see.
Yeah, and I think you just want these colors. Right now, it's looking a little bit like a Crayola box. So what you could do is, like on this green, if you took it more into the blues like the other colors, then it starts working a little bit better with the other ones. And it's, you know, even this, if you took this more into a blue violet, let me find a good one here. Then they all start to hang together a little bit better.
I see. I see.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah. No, that makes sense.
And then just going back over here, yeah, your guy is great. I don't know why you covered him up. I don't understand that. Let me just get rid of these. Yeah, your guy here is great. I mean, I would make more of them. Like he could be your label. He could be big on the box. You could also even have him crop off the box and really play into this. So you've got really two good ideas here. I think you just need to see which way you want to go.
Okay.
Here's the other thing too. Old ideas never die. So if you choose not to use this guy for this project, you know, that's where you kind of keep it in your bank. I recycle stuff all the time. I never throw anything away. So it's a really good idea. Same with this, you know, just save these files, because if you don't use the waves for this project, you never know, you might get a project coming up where you can use it. So old ideas never die. All right.
All right.
Let's see next here.
If
Isabella, are you here?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. So tell us about your product.
Mine was kind of this idea of like the sparkling water type of drink. I called it twice because it's supposed to be the two different flavors. So there's like one fruit and then another fruit. So every single one is a different combination of two fruits. And I was thinking that each box, depending on the flavor, would have a different color palette. And this one, since I put strawberry lemon, it's pink and yellow. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
It looks great. What I would do, you have all this kind of it's like almost a magenta-ish red here and the
Mhm.
yellow, and you've got the name, and then you've got fruit flavored sparkling water. That really goes with it. I would probably pop out lemon and strawberry instead of doing it in yellow, do it in white, so the flavor reads really quickly on there.
Okay.
And the only other thing on here, let's see. So I don't have your fonts and all that other good stuff. Let me see what it will let me do. You people locking all your layers, so I can't do it. Let me see here. So even just doing something like this, so you
Okay.
can read.
Yeah, that reads a lot better.
Now, here's the last thing I'll tell you on here. This would definitely be a case, this light pink kind of flesh color in the background that you've
Mhm.
chosen. It's fine, but that's going to be nearly impossible to reproduce
Yeah.
with CMYK. So, but here's the thing, if you're a big beverage retailer, you will spend the money to do a PMS color on there.
Mm-hmm.
So you can see when you get so little color, like 16%, 6%, it's just really hard to hold that with a dot pattern. And the last thing I'll tell you, let me see if it'll let me do this. Trying to get your drop shadow here.
The drop shadows on the yellow part that was behind the pink.
Yeah, I must not have something unlocked. Hang on.
If it's on the front panel layer, if the front panel layer is unlocked, then everything.
No, I unlocked everything. Let me try this here. That's so weird.
Yeah, that's weird.
Let me just do this. Which layer did you build this on?
I built it on the front panel layer. The one that you're clicked on right now.
Oh, okay. All right.
That's
We've
weird.
got so many pieces in here. Oh my God. Let's see.
Yeah.
All right, let me just show you this. So let me see. Wait,
That was it, I think. Yeah.
it should, oh, let's see. Here's the thing, when you do a black drop shadow,
Mhm.
especially on this color, it's gonna look really dirty on there.
Okay.
So what I would do is instead of, if you double click on it, here you'll get the color option on there. And if you click on that, and what I would do is kind of go in the area of where your background is right now. So you're kind of here. Maybe.
Mm-hmm.
I would choose something just if it's going to have a little color in it, have a little bit of this kind of deep violet. It's
Okay.
it's going to still give you the drop shadow,
Mm-hmm.
but it will blend in with your background color and won't look as dirty looking.
Okay.
But other than that, it looks great.
Okay, cool.
Very nicely done. All right, moving on. Let's see, whose was this?
Oh, that one's mine.
I can't
Go,
see.
Jesse.
Oh, Jesse, okay. So here's, is this your label?
Yeah.
Comments, what do you guys think?
I like the like flower in the middle.
Yeah, did you make that using Transform?
E- I forgot.
Oh, okay. Here's the only thing I would say on the label. When you zoom out, I can still see the heavy green line of the flower. I can still see the heavy green line of your outline on the shape. It's the actual name of your brand that's getting a little bit lost in here.
Okay.
What I would do is, I know this font, it's called Neutra. It should have other weights to it. But what you could do is, let me see if it'll let me open it. So let's see. So to get this to stay up by, you know, you could either go for a heavier version of it.
Okay.
You know, that's one option, or you could do what we've seen some of the other people do and outline the type. I'm usually not a huge fan of outlining type, but actually for this design, it would probably work. And what I would do is try a couple different colors here. I'm actually going to make the outline green And I'll make the interior white like your flower. And I'm going to do what I showed you to do earlier with these outlines. Where did my lines go? Stroke. So I can put a pretty heavy outline on here, but you can see it's destroying the interior, the letters. That's why if you do it that way. So I haven't made the type heavier, but by outlining it now, when it goes small, it's easier to read on there.
Yeah, that looks good.
And then I think I had your other one open here too. I mean, it gets the job done. It's kind of boring.
Yeah, it's not really done yet.
You know what might be cool is if you take this flower pattern I didn't mean to ungroup everything here. So what you could do is do this. And create a pattern with it. So if you come down here to pattern, make, and you know, you might be something where it's screened in the background, or you try some other colors in here. You can
Right.
do it, you know, make it really tight as far as this goes. And even while I have this open in pattern editing mode, I can make it smaller. I can have them get closer together. And once you get a pattern you like, you could just come up here and save a copy of it. And then whenever you use pattern editing mode, you have to come up here and exit. You can't just click out of it. But
Okay.
then what you could do is, you know, maybe on the side of your container, you know, you could do something. That would be one real easy way. You could actually change color and expand your brand palette out. So, you know, think about that. It might be one way, or you just create your own pattern on here. But I think right now it's just a little too plain.
Yeah.
So, but I think you have a really good start, and I do like your logo a lot. I think it's very cool.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. Let's see. I've got Grace. Are you here?
Yeah, I'm right here.
Okay. Let's see. Do you want to talk about one or the other first?
I can talk about my label.
Okay.
So basically, this is a brand I just made up. It's not a real brand. So it's called Spirit Vodka. So my idea for it was like it was kind of gonna be kind of like a vodka soda kind of thing, and I wanted kind of a more like a boho like vibe to it.
Okay.
Like the color palette I decided to go with.
Here's the thing. I love the name. I love these graphics with the color bands. I love your color palette. I like the birds with the bands through it. I think that's a
Yeah.
real strong branding on here. The one thing I don't like is the typeface.
Oh, okay.
And you know, you have a choice on here too, especially if you're going to go with a big blocky S like this, that you might want to try one look where you actually use that as the brand, kind of the brand font for it.
That's actually not a typeface, the S, because I actually made it myself because I
Okay.
couldn't find any typeface that had the S I wanted, so I just made it.
I think the issue is on here, for me at any rate, let me zoom in on it.
Okay.
There's a very really modern feel to the way the graphics with the color bands. There's a real sophistication to the color palette and everything. And
Yeah.
then this, it almost looks like placeholder type. This is where, this is where, this is where the logo will go when it's done. Did you look through all the script fonts that were available?
Yeah, but there wasn't any specific one that I was leaning towards, I guess.
Hang on just a sec. Oh, never mind.
No problem.
I don't, what do you guys think? I just don't think this type goes with this really machined, you know. And the other thing you need to decide is it spirit vodka where both words are equally important, or do you do something where you do, I'm just kind of faking a font in here that I have. Yeah, this isn't the right font, but do you do something where it's spirit and then you do vodka almost as a descriptor in here? Let me see if I have a script or something. Yeah, I don't know if you do something where vodka is smaller and kind of part of the design or something. You know, is
Okay,
it,
I see what
from
you
a
mean.
branding
Yeah.
standpoint, is it better to have the name that you're trying to get out there be, you want people to remember the name Spirit. Do they need to remember Spirit Vodka, or do you want them to just remember Spirit? So I think you could get away with this mixing and matching. There's one font I thought of. Was it this one? I don't know. You can make it more of a decorative element in there, but I think a bulkier font, I don't know if I have it loaded. This is, did you draw this by hand or was that a font?
I drew it because I couldn't find any font that really like the S that I wanted it to match. Like the way I wanted it, I couldn't find it, so I just made it.
So here's the deal, and it's going to take some time, but you could actually create your own font here. So if we have this, if I take that and I flip it sideways here, I can create, let's see here. So I'm just roughing it in. You could create your own. Why is it grabbing? There we go. So you could create your own letter forms here. I'm just creating a P right now. Better do this here. You're lucky in that the name of your company, oh, wow. Oh, are these all in clipping masks?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So yeah, I mean, you're only dealing with what, 6 letters, SPI. You get the idea here. So I'm trying to kind of create, no, that's not going to work. But if you have the S, you can create the P. We can create an I here just out of your color. I don't know what all I'm selecting down here. The whole point is, so if you do SPI from your P, we can get an R and make that down there. Then you can repeat the I, and then you just need to make a T, which would be very easy. So if you really like your S, yeah, it'd be very easy for you to kind of create your own font just for the name.
Okay, I see.
You don't have to do it. I'm just throwing suggestions out.
Yeah, I got it.
Yeah, so, at the end of the day, you are the designer on this. So if you really feel
Okay.
strongly that this font works with this logo or this font works with your graphics, I will defer to you. I just, in my experience, I think that's a little bit of a mismatch and they separate. Let's look at the other one. And then this pattern's great. Just make sure you're staying in your same color palette though, or is this a separate idea?
No, it's the same idea, but I kind of wanted, because I was gonna have a cutout in the box so it shows like the label. So I wasn't sure like whether I should match the colors or make it a little more like muted, I guess.
My gut instinct would be to make the colors match because again, this is,
Okay.
at the end of the day, it's a branding assignment.
All right, I see.
So now they can be slightly different. You can use the same, use the same basic palette, but maybe play with tints and shades of the colors so that it's not all
Okay.
matchy, that it's not all matchy.
Okay, I
But
see.
yeah, I think that would work. But I love this color palette. So, and maybe so your pattern doesn't stand out. See this background color and the orange. If you did those colors here, I would definitely make this pattern a little smaller though, if this is the carrier. I think this looks great on the handle, kind of abstracted. But I
Yeah.
think this is going to fight with your other icons on here. The pattern should probably just be like a supporting graphic on here. I wouldn't make it that important.
Okay, so what do you mean by like make it smaller? Like,
So if this is your carrier template here,
okay,
and you're still going to put your graphic of either the big S with spirit. So I think you want this pattern to be at least half this size, maybe even a little smaller. Maybe the size you
okay,
have it up here would be a good one to use, but definitely much smaller on there.
all right, I see.
And don't forget, no one ever drops in when I have Zoom open. You can, on any Monday or Wednesday, you can always drop in and say, here's where I'm at on here. Do you have any advice? That is, after all, what I'm here for. So let's see, Teresa, are you here?
Yep.
Looks awesome. So tell us all what's going on with everything.
Well, I've written a lot of notes since I've been watching others put up theirs. Well, the idea, mine is like a sub brand of Smirnoff vodka, and it would be to infuse like natural citrus into the vodka to make it a very natural, tasty, refreshing drink. And so therefore the green, the yellow, and the orange to kind of imply lime, lemon, orange into the vodka. I think I really want to work on building it into a good box for the render. And I'm rather happy with it. I'm not sure. The gold color somewhat kind of bothers me though for some reason.
Yeah, I mean, that's it's kind of hard to replicate, and that's definitely if this were a real job, they would have you at some point go on what we call a press check, where they would get the presses all ready to go and they would start running off a couple hundred, and you could check the colors, and if it's not quite right, you can adjust it. One thing though you should do, let me see if I can open this. Come on. Where did my dock go? Oh, I'm sorry, I'm in full view. This is always a good idea to do too. I'm going to open this in Illustrator.
Okay.
And let's see. So if I'm looking here at your colors, if I take an eyedropper tool on this yellow you're using and then double click it here, what you want to look at is the colors in here. Now, if you ever see any black in your color, I guarantee you when it goes to print, it will accentuate whatever black is in here. Yours doesn't have any black in it, but you do have 4% of cyan, the blue
Okay.
color in here. And if
Okay.
you take that down to 0, it will automatically brighten this up a little bit.
Oh, okay.
So just removing that tiny bit of, and now if I drag this in here, you should be able to see it. It should brighten it up. My big thing is, I think you want on this,
Sorry.
the way you guys build this stuff cracks me up. So, are you there?
Oh, I'm still here. I get spam calls all day long.
Yeah, I think you want this to be more centered in your lemon.
Okay.
And here's the other question I have. You chose this, I like the stamp font. I think it goes with your lines.
Mhm.
Why were you going with a roughened version of it?
Kind
Do
of that's
they-
what I had.
Do they have an option without the texture in it?
Not that particular font, but I could find one.
I believe I have one. Hang on. Let's see.
You just tell me what it is, because that's
I
usually
had, you know what? I have stolen so many fonts from every agency I ever worked with. I could not tell you where I got these. I am thinking. I'm blanking out on the name.
But the thing is to get rid of the kind of
Yeah,
rough
get rid of
edge,
the texture in there.
the texture. Okay.
Now let's see. Now I'm like needing to find this font.
Well, it's like a stencil kind of.
Yeah, I had one. My problem is I never transferred all my fonts from my old computer onto this one. So I'm constantly looking up for fonts I used to have. Yeah, this one, no, there used to be a stamped version of that. Yeah, I would just see if you can find it without the texture in there. This is all such clean line work in here. It's very machined. And then
Okay.
when you do something like this that introduces texture, it's like it kind of separates. Now you could do one of two things: lose the texture on the type, or strategically add some texture to some of your lines in there, and that would help tie
Okay.
it together. But I would prefer you find a clean version of the stamp font.
Okay. Got it.
And I'll look. I have it on a backup drive. I thought it was loaded into this computer, but I'll see if I can find the font for you. All right.
Can
But
I ask
the one thing I saw you experimenting with diagonals.
Uh-huh.
Don't. I think this horizontal stripe is really,
Okay.
really much stronger,
Okay.
especially from a branding standpoint.
Okay. I wanted to ask too is on about the placement of the barcode, the nutrition facts. I think don't you have to put the AB because it's vodka that I have to put, is it ABV or something?
If
Where do we put
if you're
that?
gonna put the nutrition file, all that, I choose one of the shorter sides
Okay.
and just, it's legally, it's got to be on there, but there's, as long as it's readable, you don't have to make it really huge. But don't choose one of the longer. Generally speaking, the long side's more often than not considered the display side, so you don't want it on that. It's one of those legal requirements that has to be on there. And so you want to just kind of do the minimum and get it on there. So same with the barcode. I would probably just have your nutrition label and the barcode, just do them side by side and group them. Or do one on one short end and one on the other short end,
Okay.
if you don't want to gang them all up on one side.
And what about the placement of the information, like the little story or whatever you said about the beverage? Where would that go? What's the best place to place that?
I would probably put it on the short side, the little romance copy that we usually put on these things.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. It depends. If it's short, if it's more like a tagline, you could work it in on all four sides. If it's a longer story, I would probably relegate it to one of the shorter sides.
Okay.
But
And
this is
then,
looking really nice.
and then what about the ABF for the alcohol? Do we have to do that?
Yeah, you want to, you should put, whatever it is, 12 or 8 fluid ounces. You should put um, the rebate information with all the states. That can be really tiny. That can be running down here at like 6-point type or
Okay.
something.
Oh, the
But yeah,
rebate.
you do need to have the 12 fluid ounces FLOZ, whatever it is. That needs to be on the front corner as well. I'd put it on every corner on here.
Okay, every corner? Okay.
Actually, I would just do, since you're going to do the nutrition label on the sides, I would just do it on the 2 long sides. Just do 12 or 8, whatever size bottle you're working with.
Okay.
Fluid ounces on there. But this is
Okay.
looking great.
Oh, thank you. Okay.
Let's see, Kyle, are you still here?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right, you sent me a JPEG. Did you draw the cow?
No, it was on VecDeezy. I can probably create one
Well,
of mine.
here's the thing. Is it free and available for use, or you just copying someone's artwork?
No, I made sure it was free.
Okay. Yeah, you don't want to get that reputation of someone who steals other people's work on here. So comments, what do you guys think about this?
I really like it. It looks really modern and yeah, it looks kind of, yeah, like kind of hip.
Here's the big issue I have with this. I love the look of this, but the issue you have is this name is so unfamiliar to a lot of people. Is it Broguiers? I forget.
Yeah.
It's such a kind of not traditional name. And when you break it up with a big gap with the cow and then make people try and come down here to read it, you have no idea. People could read this Brewy Augers or Brog. You're asking people to jump the cow to put the word together. And, if it was a very conventional name like Smith or Jones, you can get away with covering up a lot of the letters and having people still be able to read it. My concern is the name is so unfamiliar to most people that you're making it really hard for them to read it. When you break it up this way, I don't particularly, I just like the unit. Is there a way you could do the name on one line and have the cow not cover up so much of the type?
Yeah, I can play around with it a little bit more.
Yeah, it's such even when you see it all spelled out, people are going to do what I just did and say, how do you pronounce that? Is it Broguiers or whatnot? And I know it's a pretty well-known label here in Southern California, but if they expand into other markets, no one's going to know what it is. I love the way you did this with the type. That's why I want to try and see if there's a way that you can save this idea, do you have the cow stand in front of the words chocolate milk running behind it? But you still be able to spell the name. I don't know. We just need to be able to see the name. I mean, you can definitely see it here, but I'm not a big fan of this fanned out type on here. I love this look. I just want to figure out, do you put the name? Well, let me ask you guys, are you guys familiar with this product? Anyone?
No.
No.
So
No.
when you looked at this, did you have any idea how to say the name on it?
No.
No.
Oh,
Yeah, so you're going to have to help people out here. So we got to figure out a way that we can see the whole name. Maybe it's in one line and it goes at the top here and it goes just slightly behind the horns. And then the cow can actually be breaking up chocolate and milk. Maybe chocolate's in front of it and milk is behind it. But everything else, the way you did all this type is just really sophisticated and nice. So we just have to solve that problem on there.
Okay.
But it's looking good. I would also, for your browns in here, maybe choose a little richer color, because this is going to go, it looks fine on screen, but if this were to go to print, I think you'd be a little disappointed how dirty this brown looks. So if you're able to change the illustration, and just brighten the color, I think that would be helpful for you.
Okay.
All
Thank you.
right, let's see. Andre, are you here?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. Tell us about yours.
So I wanted to do a thing about kombucha, which originally originated from India, and it was often used in the Silk Road or around that region. So I wanted to play around with that kind of that brand name. I went to the desert and I took some drone photography and some photography of some of the sand dunes next to the Salton Sea, and I thought it would maybe look all right if it kind of wrapped around the 4-pack or the 6-pack. And yeah, I tried that, and for this particular flavor, it's raspberry. So I was just kind of playing with stuff. I wanted to see if I could do a photography treatment. And I really just wanted to show that kind of like that Silk Road feel with the sand dunes, and something with camels.
What do you guys think? I think this is brilliant, having these sand dunes wrap around as much as you can here and do that. I think this is great. I think it would really stand out on the shelf. What I don't like are your camels.
Okay.
And the reason for it, and this happens a lot, I mean, it looks like it got image traced off something.
I did something like that. I something along those lines. I did it in Photoshop, but
Because
something that-
here's the issue. You know what the original photo looked like.
yeah.
But looking at this right now, it looks like some 3-headed creature that's half buried in the sand.
Okay.
So I don't know that your camels are really buying you anything. I think with the name Silk Road and this really vivid imagery of the sand dunes, I mean, I think that might be enough. I think the camels might just be overkill on it.
Okay, so it'd be like a typographic logo then?
Well, or if you're going to do camels, they've got to be much more simplified and stylized. There's an artist, and I told my last class this, Michael Schwab. He's a designer up in San Francisco. But he is a master of taking people, animals, and simplifying them down to these. Let me see if he has any animals in here. So just really kind of simplifying the shapes down here. Whatever technique you used, either in like, this is a poster actually I have. Oh, I guess it's not available anymore. If you look at how the shapes have been really simplified, he's a master about being able to convey a silhouette
Mm-hmm.
and give you just enough information that you can kind of tell what he's wearing. You can kind of tell which direction the sun's coming on here. And I think that's what you need to bring to your camels. So camels per se would be a great little mark, especially on a bottle cap. But it would really require you going in there and creating a graphic of a camel that was much, much simplified without all this fussy detail that you've got on here. Like all the,
Yeah.
You're lucky in that camels have a very, very strong silhouette. So I think it's really about finding a shot of camels, taking the pen tool and going in here and doing a very, almost a little bit, you kind of have to exaggerate some features, but coming up with a very clean mark of camels. And I know they're probably laying down in this image, but it really does look like they're half buried in the sand.
Okay, I'm assuming that when I do the illustration, I would do maybe like 2 camels because I was thinking that it'd be associated with that with Camel cigarettes. And that was kind of why I refrained from doing the illustration because I thought there would be like a confusion between the two brands. But if I guess if I do 2 camels, that would mitigate that.
That's something where you just, you let your client tell you on this. But even if I just type in here camel icon illustration. Cancel? No. Some of these are really simplified. Sorry about that. But you can see where they've just using line and using shape on here.
Yeah.
But that's what you need. You need something very clean, almost silhouette that you can use as a mark. Even this probably has too much detail on it. I think really kind of simplifying things down is going to really help you out.
I see. Yeah, that's easy to do for sure.
Well, everyone says it's funny. I do a lot of illustration like that, and everyone thinks it's super easy to do, and then they do it. So, there's a lot of different looks. You have to figure out what style you want this in. If you want it very kind of mechanical looking, if you want it more whimsical, do not go that direction, especially not for, anything adult. But I think if you want to do that, you'll need to do that, not use image trace or not use the posterize function in Photoshop.
Okay.
But the idea and the photography, here's the thing, the photography is the star on this. So if you don't get the camel icon working, I think you'll be okay with it. I don't know if I would make the flavor larger than the actual name of the company. I would figure out a way to maybe do this a little bit more tastefully.
Okay.
Only because here's your brand. This is the flavor of this particular product. So in order of importance, this should be first. This should definitely be second on here. And right now, because it's bigger, it's in a bright color, this is reading first, and then the brand is actually reading second.
Got it.
All right, but it's looking great, Andre.
Thank you.
Alicia, I skipped over you, sorry. So talk to us.
So my drink is non-alcoholic. It's just like a strawberry banana refreshing drink. I was thinking about cans because I want it to be like on the go where they can buy singles too, but I know the project is the 6-pack. So I have a bottle.
No, you can also buy 6-pack of canned drinks too. So
yeah. Well, I made both just in case.
So yeah, let me scroll through here.
The only thing that I know what is like clashing is how do I get the sun logo and then the strawberry and the banana illustration to be like a family. I don't know if it's just colors. I'm just kind of struggling with that part.
Well, 2 things on here. The actual name of your beverage. First of all, I like this little sun icon with the little dots coming off it. It's simple, but it's clean, and it goes with the name. The name is much too tiny in here. You need to figure out a way to make it much more prominent. Because again, when this zooms out on a shelf, I will see your sun, but I won't see the name of it.
Yeah.
And if you are going to do it on this curve, it seems like you want to follow a circular curve around the sun. This is going off in a totally different curve. I don't know if you're trying to create like a orbit around here.
Yeah, I had it to where it was centered with the sun, but it just didn't. I don't know. I didn't like it, but I'm still playing.
Yeah, I think you just need to get it. I like the font and everything. I think you just need to get it more prominent. Even here on the side, when you make it big, now I can see the brand. So, is there a way you can work this sun in with this at an angle? Maybe you take your sun and rotate it, And you guys going with all these really muted colors. It's really interesting. Here's what I would tell you about the fruit down here is they look a little cartoony compared to your sun. And I think the thing is you've tried to put too much detail in here. So your sun is made up of circles and triangles. So is there a way that you can create your shapes? The leaf looks really good, but it looks like you drew this by hand and it's a little bit lumpy. Is that true?
Yeah, the pen tool.
Yeah, I think you want to do what you can to make these out of pure shapes on here. So for your strawberry, you can always start with an ellipse. Let me fill it with strawberry color here. You could start with this and then just use your direct selection tool. So I'm just dropping this down a little bit. And if you drop that down, that's going to give you a more machined looking strawberry shape than the one you have, which is a little lumpy, you know. Same with your banana here. I'll show you the easiest way to do that is start with an ellipse here and I'll give this a banana color here. Oh. And then same thing, I'm going to come over here. I'm going to delete one point and what you can do, I'm going to make this even thicker. So you start with this as a line, just the outside of that. You can go to the stroke panel here and actually cap this out with round edges. And then all you need to do is come over here and find the width tool. And if you start in the middle of your banana.
Oh.
Oh, wow.
So if you have these shapes and they look more like they're built off of simple circles and other shapes, then it's going to match the graphics you created for the sun. By coming in here and trying to put the seeds, first of all, what kind of bananas do you get that you have seeds in the banana?
I don't know.
Yeah. So again, I think if you do that, then it will marry into this basic shape here that you've done.
Yeah.
The biggest thing is we just have to make more of this name of your brand here. If you tighten your letter spacing up on this, you can also make it a little bit bigger.
Oh, yeah.
Honestly, I think if you, let me see, did I open yours in Illustrator? I think I did. Or did I not? Let's see here. So let's see here. Oh, here it is over here. So what you could do on this, if you go with the diagonal type here, I think you could do one of two things. You could either match that angle with your dotted lines over here, or, it might be something you do in opposition to. So it's like a 90-degree angle. You could look at it behind your type and see what that looks like. Probably covers it up too much.
Mhm.
But I think that works better than trying to wrap this around your sun.
Yeah.
Right, but I think it's a really good start on here.
All right.
All right, let's see. We did Megan, we did Andre. Oh, this looks beautiful. Whose is this?
That one's mine, Sarah Park.
Oh, okay, Sarah. All right, also kombucha, totally different vibe on here. So tell us about this.
So I actually got inspiration from one of your packaging examples. I kind of liked where like there was like the text in the background was kind of like a pattern, and it kind of played with the transparency for the berries.
Sorry about that.
Oh, no worries. Yeah, and I really like, I don't know, I thought it was kombucha, but is it kombucha? I always call it kombucha, but I really like it, so I just try to do one. I did another version below.
Oh, I like your first one.
Okay.
But here's the thing. I mean, it's beautiful. The large type that wraps around. I like that you've got this kind of engraved illustration on here. The one thing that doesn't really look like it belongs to me is this paw print.
Oh,
Only because, you know, you've got this nice kind of engraved element here and very clean, very sophisticated typography. And then the paw here, and did you check to see if bears actually have 5 little paws, or is it 4? I guess it's 5.
I thought it was 5. There's 4?
I'm just seeing.
How many fingers? Bears we have 5.
Yeah, the bear claw that you have in there looks almost like it comes from a sports uniform, you know, like home of the
Oh,
Jaguars or something.
okay.
I'm just wondering if there's a way to do it where it's more decorative
Got it.
that
Okay.
matches there. And I was just looking to see something that's going to match the delicateness.
I see. Okay.
Um, yeah, I think if you did something, you know, these might be too decorative or something, but I think it would soften it and not make it look quite so harsh compared to everything else.
I see.
The rest of the design is beautiful, absolutely beautiful.
Thank you.
And again, I would definitely, you know, if this were a real client, we would want to maybe choose exact Pantone colors of the pink and the lavender here.
Okay.
So yeah, let's work on and come up with a more elegant solution to the bear paw. It doesn't have to be as detailed and old, you know, vintage looking as this,
Oh,
but it
okay.
just can't be this heavy kind of sports logo on this very
Okay.
elegant packaging. And I would definitely, let's see here. Now, is this the same flavor, just different?
Yeah.
Oh no, I so much prefer that. I think that
Okay.
looks great. And the only other thing is double check this color because it might print really kind of muddy and dark gray. Is that what you want?
Well, I was going off a color palette from like this like picture.
Okay.
So that was like the gray or the dark brown that they had. So I could
Okay.
change it.
No, it works. I would just, that would probably be another one we pull a Pantone color on.
Okay.
All right, and let's see, but no, it looks beautiful. So just keep moving on. We need to see what the label is going to look like. Is there a way that you can incorporate this with it?
Yeah, so I was gonna probably have the panel on the first that one as the label, but kind of like more narrow.
Okay, it just, you need to have the brand has to be pretty prominent on there.
Okay.
So, because again, if this is the label and it's on the bottle, yeah, you
Well,
can
this
read it.
was like the box.
Yeah, no, I know this is the
Oh,
box.
okay,
Was
okay.
that going to be the label though, or are you going to do something more like this?
The one on the left.
The issue is you still
Oh,
have to
you
get the
can't see
name,
the-
you still have to
got
get the
it.
brand up larger.
Okay.
Because from a distance, if I can see a bottle with the beautiful graphics on here, but I can't really make out the
Ah, I
name.
see.
I mean, you
Okay.
don't have to club people over the head with the name, but you do want something that's going to be easily identifiable and especially for a new brand going out there. But this looks gorgeous, really
Okay.
nicely done.
Yay, thank you.
Let's see here. Isabella, we did. Gemma, we did. Whose was this? Winnie, are you here?
Yeah, mine is still like thumbnail phase.
Okay. I
Um,
gotta tell you, I love this name. It's so cool. Is this a sunburst or is this a compass or what's back here?
it's like so hexes are used for like farming and like support like I think an 8-pointed star is like good luck, something like that.
Oh, okay. Okay, got it,
Because
got it.
it's a cider, a hard cider made of apples. So,
Okay.
but I wanted it kind of like space themed too, kind of like space magic.
Okay, I was gonna say you've got kind of black magic and space. Do those work together? How can we get those to work together?
Yeah, but now that I've seen other people's designs, I'm kind of rethinking it.
Well, I kind of like it with all this weird symbolism, you know. That's where, you know, for any design project, research is really um, a big part of this. If I just, you know, signs for hexes, there's a
Yeah.
lot of really great. Here we are, you know, I don't know if you want to be specific to one.
Yeah, because like these styles are like kind of folk arty. I kind of didn't want folk art. I
But
feel
here's the
like,
thing, you could take something like this and turn it into space. It's just because of the colors they've chosen.
yeah.
But if you took like this star, you know, that could be something really,
Oh yeah, that's pretty cool.
yeah, and you don't, let's get out of Dutchland here. You know, there's some other stuff which also, the reason I pulled this up is if you're going with a space theme, there's a lot of symbols that can be both hex related, but also be like astronomical signs, you
Yeah.
know? So if you look at some of these patterns, which are just geometric shapes, if you look at this, you could very easily combine that if I come up here and do space symbols. You know, there's no reason you couldn't turn some of those designs into little planets or something. You know, there's some very cool graphics that you could do that would kind of bridge the gap between science and, you know, look how cool this is, you know.
Yeah.
But if I saw packaging with all this weird iconography and it's kind of space, but it's kind of mystical, I think that would be a really stunning, you know, look for a brand. And, you know, I make this offer to anyone. If you go to istockphoto.com and I'll do, and just even do vectors here, you'll probably see a lot of cool stuff that you can use. So within reason, I mean, don't send me a request for 20 of these because they're like 30 bucks a pop for me. But if you want to use some of these symbols, if you come and find an ID number on here and email it to me, I will buy it for you. That'll save you a lot of time. Ideally, you don't want to build stuff for your portfolio out of stock images because you know, you kind of want to sell everything that's in your portfolio as your work. That being said, on something like this with these geometric shapes that are just very time consuming and they don't take any real skill to put them together, yeah, if you want, just send me the number and I can get it for you. This goes for everyone. If you need fruit shapes for your beverage and you're having a hard time drawing the icons for it, again, just look on here. Although I just showed how easy it is, but if you want to use some of these, just let me know and I can get them. All right, any other questions? So you're starting out with a killer brand name and you're already playing with some really great graphics in here. So there's, tons of ways that you could make this work. Can the X here be one of these space stars? Could you work that in there somehow?
Yeah.
I love this kind of is getting into all that kind of Masonic iconography that's on the money, the pyramid with the all-seeing eye and everything. That's really cool too. I like the idea of you creating your own hex symbol, that's unique. Ideally for a brand, that's what you want to do, is create something unique.
Yeah.
So yeah, and you guys still have 2 weeks. I'm gonna get, like I said, I'll get the 3D components uploaded by the weekend. I'm just a little bit behind on my videos on here. And then I'll have videos on how to do this in Photoshop or Illustrator as well. All right, did I miss anyone? Let me just scroll through and make sure. Some really great, oh, whose were these?
These are mine. Sorry, I forgot to put my name on it. Scarlett.
Oh, okay. So you're still at the thumbnail stage?
Yeah, it took me a while to figure out the names of all the flavors. Basically, I'm doing my own brand I made up called Dead Good Drinks, and they're all like different soda flavors. And I've made each of them kind of themed to like Halloween, spooky.
I love that. I love your drawings too. So
And
here's what you really need to do. We need to come up with a good logo for Dead Good Drinks. I don't know if this is it. It looks a little too simplistic.
Yeah, I was playing around with
It can be your handwriting, but or a handwriting font, or a more decorative font, but get that locked in. And then on each flavor, you really want to make your illustrations kind of be the star of the packaging. So if it were me on Shocking Strawberry, I would make this guy like really big and maybe even bleeding off the edge a little bit, and really sell these characters, because from a branding standpoint, there's so much merchandise you could create with this stuff on. It would be great. And your drawings are just really, really cute and fun. I love the cemetery cherry with the cherries for the eyes. So
really kind of
what I would do on your packaging is almost treat the sides of the carrier like you're doing street art. I think that would be a really cool way to go on here. Something like this, I don't think it really goes with your illustrations, trying to get all geometric with it. I think you're better off staying with this kind of hand done feel to it. I wouldn't try to run it around there. This could be the icon for the drink. This bottle with a creepy eye in it with the kind of fumes coming out of it. That could be a really great icon that works with Dead Good Drinks.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And your illustrations are just great. I mean, really don't water those down.
Yeah, I want to try to do kind of like maybe like a neon color on a black background.
Okay, but just make sure you don't lose your drawings, because sometimes when you flip it out of a dark background, it's going to lose some of its charm. So, but yeah, no, keep moving forward on it. I think it's a really great direction.
Thank you. Took a long time trying to figure the names of the drinks.
Okay. Let's see. I just want to make sure I covered everyone that's here. While I'm doing this, make sure again that you've entered your name in chat so that I have that. All right, nothing came in late here. All right, do you have any questions of me? So again, make sure your name is in chat so I can take roll off it. Here's the deal. You have the rest of this week and then 2 weeks after that to finish this. So what I would plan on doing is get your flat graphics, your flat label, the flat graphics you're going to put on the carrier. I would try and get that locked in by next week, so you allow yourself the last week to do the 3D render on it. And if at all possible, here, I'll just give you a brief preview here. I haven't put it all together yet, but so what I have, so I have a bunch of blank images. If you want to do the 3D render in Photoshop, if you don't want to take a chance on running it, I've got a whole bunch of these, and I don't believe I put these all up yet, did I? So there's a bunch of these. There's also additional ones. Let's see. Beverage images. So there's a lot of options as far as 4-packs, colored bottles, bottle caps, colors on here. These are all images, and you can hand your graphics onto them in Photoshop, and I'll have a video up on how to do that. And then I also have a bunch of object files that will work in Dimensions. So I'll put these up here. Some of them are Adobe stock. So here it is in Dimension. You can move it around. You can even take the bottles out here individually if you want to. And then there's a bunch of these that I have that these already have labels on them. Let me show you here. So there's a lot of different ones on here. I'm trying to show you the finished product here. These you can actually see how they're put together. I got to find your object file. Here we go. So again, if you had trouble with dimensions before, I wouldn't blame you if you didn't want to do it again. And it's still thinking. So here's another one. Now this is opening them up in Photoshop, so you'd need to actually open them in Dimension to work with them. But here's these. But again, I'll have a video up on how to show you guys how to do all those. So again, make sure your name is in chat. As soon as I end the meeting, it's going to start converting this into an MP4 recording. So it'll take me about an hour to get it up online. Do you guys have any other comments or questions before I let you guys go? It's really looking great. So I can't wait to see you guys finish this out. I think you're going to have really good portfolio pieces out of it. So, all right. Thanks for showing up today. I appreciate it. You guys have any questions? Otherwise, I'm going to end the meeting. You guys are free to go.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Thanks.